Hello Capricorn, welcome to my channel. This video is for March 2024. You could watch the reading whenever you feel called to. If you have Capricorn in your chart or if you're a different sign, welcome. I've been thinking about this reading for the last couple of days, and yesterday I did receive a couple of signs and visions of doing this reading. I say that because one of the decks that I'll be using that I was wanting to use for this reading is the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. And I asked the deck if I am going to use it for the reading. And the vision that I was getting was the sky was red, and then there was a mass of opaque black in my vision, but it was shaped and formed um, in my vision, but it was so, I would say, vast that I wasn't getting the whole picture. And the card that I pulled is the world. And I was like, this is it. So I definitely feel like there is um, an eagerness, almost a need to do this reading. And with that one being the world card, it gives the impression of support in a way where I support you and you support me and we save each other. And so for those who watch this reading, I hope this is a place of comfort and that you can get something, some things to think about by the end of the reading. So for the video, I have a couple decks. Aside from the Dreams of Gaia, I have the Slavic Legends Tarot. This one is the Czech edition of the Shadowscapes Tarot. And the Heaven and Earth Tarot. Just to tie in the reading, of course, with the Capricorn energy, it is heavy earth. So there's a feeling of dominance in that area, or a dominant masculine energy. And if you're feminine, it's almost as if, and even if you're a male that has a strong feminine energy, I'm not reading um, genders, it's almost as if you're forced into the opposite energy that you have. So there is a bit of um, maybe a little bit of discomfort because it's not something that you like to be in necessarily. Of course, you like to be in energies that have a sense of stability and again a sense of comfort. And with it being the opposite, it's almost as if it's rewiring or retraining you to um, have those areas and aspects of yourself stronger, as if maybe there is that type of change where in a way you'll have to be ambidextrous and see how you could work it to your advantage. I feel that this reading is a strong, has a strong idea of working the earth and what can you get from the earth. So with that being said, I'll pull out the cards. And the cards that flipped over, the Seven of Coins, Seven of Pentacles, the King of Swords, and the Death. It's almost like you're working the earth that hasn't been worked in a long time. This could be in different areas of your life. Um, could even be relationships, but it could also be a career. Rebuilding something, but I'm sorry, it almost sounds like marketing. Making it into something that it wasn't before. Almost like a transmutation energy. A lot of critical thinking that comes from the King of Swords. And with the Seven of Coins, the Seven of Pentacles, it does seem like it's a growth period and trying different things. As if maybe we're trying to have a green thumb. Maybe some people haven't planted before. Maybe some people are in an environment that they're not um, the most aware of yet because they were in the last environment for such and such years. So, and then with the death card too, uh, it kind of feels like a realization that this is it, that this is what it comes down to. And what do you do when something that you've had for so long, something that's so familiar with you, is changing? What do you do with change? What do you do when winter comes? And if you're a person that knows how to work the earth, or um, a person that knows how to deal with the different seasons internally and externally, what happens at that point of time? Because the Seven of Pentacles, it's an earth card, but um, it does deal with time too. And almost like thinking outside the box with the King of Swords. This might be difficult for the King of Swords too, even if being king in the sword suit, because with air and earth, they aren't ones to jive so naturally together. And I have given this analogy before of wind trying to go through a mountain. It's solid. It doesn't really go through. It tries to find other alternatives. It has so much flexibility that Earth doesn't. Earth is solid. Earth stays in place. Earth can be seen as rock. And until we find other ways to work around this situation, we'll have to work in an element that's uncomfortable with us. So you could be you could have like a lot of air in your chart too, but you're a Capricorn, or it could be the other way around, or you just feel drawn to watching this video. And I have also talked about this too, where you have a chessboard and then midway through the chess game, you flip the board so you're playing the opposite or your opponent's pieces. What do you do when these pieces aren't yours? What do you do when the moves that were prior to the ones that you're making now aren't your own, or the territory that you have is not your own anymore? How are you working around these things? I would say that a lot of fairies, they like tricks. And I mention fairies because I have a fairy deck and I love fairies. One of the things that they have is kind of like a fairy lie. And I'm not saying that they're constantly lying, but there is this aspect of when they tell a lie, there's a bit of truth in there. It's almost as if um, that's part of working with the system that you have at this point. How are you going to work with something that's true and yet it isn't true? It is a paradox and it almost is its own matrix in itself. Because with the fairies, they are and they aren't. They're in our world, but they aren't in our world. So there is like that intertwining type of energy that sometimes it kind of lapses or interlaps if layers on top of each other, and you can kind of feel the remnants of our world and the remnants of their world, and yet it's almost like we're cohabiting together. And maybe that's another aspect of it too, how to coexist um in a way where it's not really up to us. How are we going to blend some things without letting go of the values that we have, without getting rid of our own moral compass? I remember when I was younger, and I've been talking about this lately, but I went to Catholic school, and my grade school, it was very small. Our classes were just of 32. For the most part, that was the max. And I felt my battery is not charged, but I'll see what the when it tells me I have to. Um, so there came a point, it was like around the eighth grade, and there's this other school that was about to close down. It was borderline about to close down, and their classes were even smaller than our classes. So the diocese didn't see a point of keeping both the schools because they were both so small. So by the time, like, well, the beginning of eighth grade, they made the decision to combine the schools, and then we renamed our school. And it was um, it was interesting because we were the last class to like have the same uniforms. Like we both kept our uniforms, and they didn't really change our that much of for us, but then like the future classes or for the future grades, they were going to change those things. And it's interesting because they did that with high school too. When I was a senior in high school, the last year of high school, for the American school, last grade for the American school, um, they wanted to change like the uniforms. And so my class was the last class um, to keep our uniforms, and then they changed it to something else afterwards. So it seems like there's like a beginning type of energy with that too. That type of integration and coexisting um, to keep the culture alive instead of, you know, the worst case scenarios of what could. So let me pull out more cards. I say the fairies are active at this time, and I've been feeling the earth energy too because it's getting warmer, and that's when the fairies like to come out again. Looks like something taken by force with the Five of Swords. And with it being part of the sword suit, it could be um taking away the communication. Another thing that I was getting since actually December, there's this I have a lot of signs like when I work in the lab. And one of the signs, like a lot of the caution signs just stood out to me. And then specifically the one in the fridge, it's like warning, do not by any means unplug this freezer or fridge. And I was like, yeah, I know. Just in case people want to do something and they need to unplug something. But I was getting, for a while, I was like, so what am I not like unplugging? And that would be more like metaphorical terms, I suppose. And I recently picked up on it, and it was like, by any means, do not halt the communication. Something is not meant to be severed. So you're stuck with me. Hopefully, it's okay. Let me see. Oh, yeah, my other deck. And what's coming out is such an ethereal energy, and it's so vibrant and light and just mystical. Is in this deck it's called love. I mean, it's a debate. Oh my God. It's a debate that, like, if people want to use it as an oracle deck or a tarot, technically tarot is a form of oracle. That's neither here nor there, but this is the Hanged Man card, and the word that's there is love, as if love is patient, as if there has been things that you had to heal from or move past. Even when you severed ties with your past, with whatever situation or relationship that you were in before, you still brought that energy to the present. And in a way, it kind of haunts you and it's stuck with you. And in a way, you're still stuck in that place that you were because you never let go of it. And my battery's gonna die. Sorry, one second. I'm also getting like IKEA. Sometimes I get in the IKEA mood where I want to decorate my place. And that's kind of how it feels too. Like you want to make the best of um cohabiting. There's also the card of choice too, and with that it's the Fool card with whatever journey you're planning on taking, and that's the new journey for the Fool, essentially. And it's interesting with the different faces that you get on the tree because, in some ways, some things are meant to happen if you believe in that. But in other ways, it's almost as if you were given opportunities to do certain things, like maybe to leave a situation or leave a relationship or um, leave a job, leave a place, but the choice was yours, and then this is the journey that you're taking now. This is what has been fulfilled, and in a way, I don't say manifest that much, but this is that's what manifested. So This is an extra card. It's the intuition. And today, like I had, um, I I got ink on my hand, which isn't that surprising because I'm a lefty, but it looked like it they were almost like spider bites, kind of as if I accidentally smeared it or something, even though that's not the area where I usually get ink on my hand. Because there's a spider on here and a spider with the web, and with the spider, it's almost like, again, being ambidextrous, where you're doing something until it becomes second nature to you, like a spider spinning its web. And that's what is really uncovering at this point. Because it kind of feels like something's uncovering itself. This feels like, because this is a Four of Wands, and it feels like eclipse, like solar eclipse for this card, as if um all this energy is centered into this time, place and time, and part of the day. And from that, that's when you get the most energy. And once you get that opportunity, once you get that time, it's almost as if you're waiting for a specific time, and then once that specific time hits, that's when you'll bolt, and that's when you're gonna do the things that you need to do. Maybe with the Five of Swords, what was taken from you in terms of, because I was getting the other reading, I was getting like a radio frequency, maybe something to do with communication, since it has to do with, like, the swords has to do with communication, a lot of the readings. Depending on the reading, each one is like an individual basis. But generally speaking, and then it's the Five of Pentacles and the Empress card. Don't mind the symbols won't mind you. So with the Empress card, it is definitely a slow moving, almost, it kind of feels like heavy lifting energy, as if the air has become so thick it's almost tangible. And um and for some, if the Empress is in reverse, it's if it's in like an it's like a bull energy where the bull doesn't want to be moved, and it's like solid, and it's stuck in this state of the Five of Cups where there it's holding on to those emotional aspects that weren't let go, even though the situation or that moment of time has passed. So it's almost like the Empress sits on her throne and just waits at this point, as if it's everything is growing around her, but then time has stopped with her. Um, I'll turn over the other cards, but I was looking for my Heaven and Earth deck. My cat might be on it. Oh no, it's right here. I'm sorry, I don't mean to blame you. For this, so I got the Hierophant and then the Two of Wands. And it's like Dominion, and it's almost like not willing to give up. And I'm getting it's like I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask anything from them. I didn't take anything from them. So I'm not going to surrender. I'm not judging. I wouldn't surrender either. Another Two of Wands for the future. So with the Two of Wands, it kind of feels like making the best out of your situation. Because the person looks like looking out into the distance, and you see that there's this distant land, and there's a map, and there's opportunity. Um, and as if like the land that's currently surrounding him is, it looks like almost sand or it looks like stone, as if, like on the map it kind of has one color where it's blocked out. That's kind of what it feels like. Um, it was, of course, on Instagram before this, and I was watching a beaver just nonchalantly cutting down a tree because I love to make use of my free time. And as soon as, like, it looked like, or it felt like, yeah, this tree's gonna fall, it just like moved out of the way and it fell. And that's for predators to um, cut them off more easily because then they make water roots, and a lot of their predators are like super avid swimmers, and they are, I guess, a different type of species, of course. So they're animal, and what's in the pouch, it kind of looks like what really matters to you is what you kept. It kind of reminds me of the Nine of Wands energy. It's not in here right now. But with the Nine of Wands energy, it's kind of like someone that's really wounded, but they still have like fight left in them. And whatever fight they have left, they're gonna fight for things that are that mean something, and they're they're gonna keep going. It's something that they're not gonna give up on, and similarly to the cards of the Two of Wands and the Hierophant, I didn't do anything, I didn't take anything from them, so I'm not going to surrender. And what's really nice is that with the Two of Wands, it's almost like you're really taking advantage of this opportunity because you have the Nine of Cups. And this Nine of Cups, it's kind of like living like a king or living like a queen. You could do whatever, be whatever, live wherever. So, um, I feel like for some of the Capricorns, you're really going to go for it. And yeah, it's reverting back because like you have like the travel plans and the Two of Wands. And then with the Ace of Coins, the Ace of Pentacles, that's the solid opportunity, or that's the solid choice. That's like the confirmation that you're going to get to just go for it. Because before this reading, I did have like an energy of there was a little bit of sadness and feeling like a little hope was dimming, but there's a spark that's still there that keeps trying to illuminate, and that's what I'm getting with the Four of Wands in the Dreams of Gaia. And it's really beautiful because it's like still giving yourself the ability or like giving yourself the permission to dream with the Page of Cups. And that's such a forgiving, or that's such a I wouldn't say vulnerable energy, but I think it's like of the utmost love that you could give yourself to, the ability to dream and to do things that you know that your soul yearns for the most. The obstacle is the Knight of Wands. The main thing with the Knight of Wands is that if you're upset about something, say something in your past, say something even in your present, um, really notice how you're expressing or how you're not expressing that anger. If you're internalizing it, or um, to not go forward with something with the energy of the only thing that fuels you is going to be anger, to fuel yourself with other aspects that can really help you thrive, and not to be self-destructive or like a human tornado, because at some point it might be the only way that you'll know how to react to things. It's almost like shutting down, or if it's like if the Knight of Wands might get out of hand, it could be losing your temperature, losing your temper. Yeah, there's something that is on your mind that really needs to, I'm getting that really needs to heal, because it's almost like you take it with you wherever you go. It's almost as if this energy, it I don't know if it even means anything to you, but you take it with you because of the Knight of Wands, because it's something that like I remember, like I don't know, 69 years ago, where this happened to me and like it made me so pissed, and from that moment on I decided to never let it go. And like now it's whatever year it is for you, and you're like, oh, I'm so pissed about that still. And it's like, dude, like let it go. Like honestly, like you could be so much happier, like frolicking somewhere else, like living your best life, but you decide to like stay in this energy that you don't need. And remember what brings the best of you, and really run with it. Because I feel like as you get older, those dynamics in your life are really hard to come by. Like if you meet like a solid person, you're just like, this person's like so. amazing, and they like if you have like your tribe and they help you really thrive and be the best person that you can be, then I would really notice that. And then if there's like a person that like maybe you're really not compatible with, or I don't know, maybe there's like a group or something that like you really don't agree with, like why are you sticking around with that group? Because and if it's because you have to, then you could make the best out of the situation. But it might be by force because it's the Nine of Swords, and then here it's like despair and cruelty. There might be something eating at you, or there might be like something in your environment that really is not of your best interest that like kind of brings you down. But in those moments of time, think about moments and like maybe someone that you really love and just energetically like send them love and I think that would make you feel better because if you feel like they love you too, they'll send something back. And it's the Seven of Cups and the Three of Cups. And it kind of feels like choosing things for the wrong reasons. Like if you were surrounded by people or you did something because you thought that it could benefit you in this way, but it turns out that it was completely less fulfilling. And again, with like in the beginning of the reading, you have the Fool card with choice. Like you made this choice, so see how you could live with those choices. And things, time comes and goes, and things that are meant to stay in your life and people that are meant to stay in your life will stay in your life. Things that have the strength to move forward in your life can. Um, you don't have to bring the heavy energies from your past if they don't need to be there. And with the Four of Wands again, there's another Wands card that comes from the Slavic legends. The Eight of Wands, this feels like kind of energy that goes full force, and that's like the obstacle. Um, it feels like an obstacle energy and what you're putting the force into. So your past is the Four of Swords. It's almost like the end of hibernation for this bear, and now it's kind of go time. Because it does feel like time has lapsed, even with the Eight of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles, and because both are like timely cards. Like, even if the Eight of Wands is more like swift, the Seven of Pentacles is more methodical movement. There could be a sense of impatience too. And then some extra cards. Well, from the Shadowscapes is the Four of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. Another Ace of Pentacles and another Four of Swords. So I would say it's heavy energy on these, as if something awakened in you and now it's like time to go, but you're not knowing you're not like it's almost as if you just woke up and like the bear that just woke up in the Four of Swords out of hibernation. And now like in the beginning, it was like the Seven of Pentacles, the King of Swords, and the Death card, as if the environment changed around you. Like with the bear, the environment changes around um, them if, like, because it's a different season, and now they walk out or like they get out of their cave or their tree or their burrow and they see that everything is different. And the obstacle I would feel is not to be too, to really think about what you're doing instead of having the impulsive energy, especially if there was a time lapse. Like the Four of Swords is definitely a time lapse too, because you're kind of resting from the Three of Swords. So that could have been a healing time for you if you were trying to let go of past energy, trying to go of trying to let go of something that was more toxic or something that was too much of a burden to really hold on to. And in doing that, maybe it was a little harsh because that was the Five of Swords. Because you went into a Four of Swords energy, and then the Five of Swords, it's like, it's almost like you might be cutting something or somebody off completely at that point. And if it's not completely, there is set boundaries that you have at that. If they cross you in any way, um, with the Five of Swords, it's kind of blunt, as if it's forceful and it seems like almost like without hesitation in some cases. So I'll pull out a couple more cards. And there is a dynamic duo here because both the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords came out in the dreams of Gaia. And it looks like both of them, like, because this looks like, sorry with my words, ethereal. It looks ethereal. And it's almost as if both of them are getting these downloads, or both of them are having this almost clear communication if it's not direct communication, because it does seem like there was energy where there were time lapses, as if getting back to each other um in like geological time, like it was pretty long. And either that or this type of connection, there's just something that it looks more on the like spiritual communication side, as if both of them can sense each other. It's almost it's almost like an instinct that you have with each other. You feel them out. And I mean, that could be tactful too, because with the sword suit, a lot of times I really connect it with war, like military, or like being tact tactful or strategic. It is one of those things where um it's definitely mindful, and it's definitely something intentional too because you thought through it. Also, with the sword suit, linking to the air signs in a lot of decks, the air signs are the ones that are more depicted with human characteristics. So they don't have animals in their category or like the air signs or so it kind of feels like they are kin or they are one of it does seem like there is something that really links them because in the King of Swords, he has an eagle, and I'm not reading for genders, but just to say, the Queen of I'm sorry, the Queen of Swords, that in some decks it can be the Queen of Wands with the air, but the Queen of Swords has an owl, and it even in her eyes there is, and they have antlers, so it's like receiving messages, and with wings, it's almost like divine, and there's an eye at the top, and um like they have wings even around their eyes too. The I'm sorry, the Queen of Swords, and since I say Queen of Wands too, they could be um really embodying the fire in the air. So it's a lot of amped up fiery, um, dominant, unapologetic, forceful, force of nature type of energy that could come out of the Queen of Swords. Anyway, she has the eyes that have, it could be seen as Pisces. And then I'll pull out a little bit from the Shadowscapes. So especially with the Seven of Cups that came out earlier with the Three of Cups, to remember why you're choosing what and or who and what do they bring to you, and to remember that whatever choices you make, that's what you'll live with, and that's what you'll carry on and be able to, I guess, sit with, as I said. So the card that I pulled out is the Hierophant, another Hierophant card, because there was one from the Heaven and Earth Tarot. And with this one, it does feel like um, teachings and one of your values. You could have a student or you could be somebody else's student. And it doesn't have to do with age, but it's almost as if the tree is inviting the other beings to sit with him or her to give the teachings of life of what the tree has seen, because the trees have seen many things over the years. And what to foresee based off of what has history done before. It wouldn't hurt to get another history lesson because a lot of things are preconceived or predetermined or pretty expected for things to happen based off of what happened in history. And it could be worldly history, um, it could also be history within yourself too, or history with other people, or history of other people that come into your life. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.